3 of the most important questions to ask your agent when you're buying a house. Hi, my name is Ryan Taylor with the Achieve Real Estate team in Lansing, Michigan, and today we're talking about some of the most important questions you can ask your agent when you begin the home buying process. So there's many questions that you can ask and talk to your agent about. How many of them are really important and are going to impact what happens throughout the process, and most importantly, what's going to impact your wallet. So one of the top questions to clarify is, how much am I looking at out of pocket? What is this going to cost me? So throughout the process, there's costs that are more upfront, and then there's costs that happen in the middle of the transaction, and then there's costs when you actually have to bring a check to the closing table. One of the costs that happen up front is when you get an accepted offer and you have to pay for an inspection. Usually this costs anywhere from $300 to $400 depending on your area. Further along the process, after you've passed the inspection stage, you have to pay for the appraisal right before the appraisal happens. Now, depending on who the lender works with, this can cost anywhere from $400 to $600. And usually this is a cost that also happens during the transaction. As you move farther along the process past the appraisal stage, we start to get to the underwriting stages in the lender's process. So the last process for the lender is to clear the loan from final underwriting and give us the clear to close. So that means the lender is going to approve a closing statement, which gives the buyer and the seller all their debits and credits. So any money that's due and any money that's credited to them, and that closing statement will determine what your cash is to close, meaning what amount of money you have to bring to the closing table to complete the purchase. The money you bring to the closing table is broken down between prepaids and closing costs. Prepaids are going to be anything that has to go into your escrow account that will be used to be paid at a later date. Other costs that are involved, which are the bulk of the closing costs for you as a buyer, are your closing costs. So this is mostly going to be loan origination fees, title related fees, and recording fees for the paperwork that is used to transfer ownership from one entity to the next. As a buyer, it's very important to understand these costs up front so that you know how much money is expected of you at certain times, because you don't want to be blindsided by fees just to get to the next step of the process. It's much better to know these fees up front so you can set your own expectations. The second important question is to know what is included in the sale. So when a seller lists a home, they can reserve items as a part of that sale. That just means they're going to keep those items and take them with them once they sell the property. Many common reserved items are going to be the washer, dryer, sometimes a refrigerator. So it's good to know what is included in the sale, because you don't want to get to the closing day and then realize you don't have a washer and dryer. We've had that happen before as a result of miscommunication and assuming something is included in the sale. So the question you would ask your agent is, are there any reserved items that we are going to have to negotiate to try to include in the sale? The last important question is to determine how old the high ticket items are in the home. So by high ticket, we mean how old is the roof, how old is the furnace, how old is the water heater, and what is the status of the plumbing and the electrical and the foundation. If you know that once you buy this house, you're going to have to replace the roof or the furnace, that's an added expense that will happen after the sale. So you want to account for that expense during the sale by either negotiating that the seller repair something, or that the seller provide a home warranty so that you don't have added expenses or unforeseen expenses after you buy something. So big ticket items and the age of them, they're really used as a negotiation tool for the buyer. So this is always a great question to ask your realtor. Now that you know some of the top questions to ask, I hope this will help you in your home buying process. Stay tuned for more videos, and we'll see you on the next one.